A bombshell resignation in Ottawa. Canada's finance minister quits cabinet just hours before an economic update.
This cannot continue. This prime minister cannot go on like this.
I'm calling on Justin Trudeau to resign. He has to go.
Tonight, political turmoil in our nation's capital. Questions about leadership and our country's future. Good evening. We have yet to hear from the Prime Minister tonight.
But sources tell CTV News he is considering his options, including resignation or prorogation, which would essentially end the parliamentary session. But for now, it appears the work continues. Just moments ago, our cameras captured the Prime Minister addressing his caucus behind closed doors in Ottawa. It comes as he faces leadership questions. We're told Chrystia Freeland was also in the meeting. And just over an hour ago, Trudeau named her replacement.
I, Dominic LeBlanc, do solemnly and sincerely promise and swear that I will be truly and faithfully...
Dominic LeBlanc was sworn in as Canada's next finance minister, replacing Chrystia Freeland. The Prime Minister joined him during this ceremony, and in the background of it all, a fall economic statement tabled today, and a $61.9 billion deficit, nearly $22 billion more than the Liberals' pledge. We'll have more on that in a moment, but first, a look at how the turmoil unfolded today in Ottawa. Here's CTV's senior political correspondent, Mike Lecouture.
Chrystia Freeland says she met with the Prime Minister on Friday and was offered another cabinet position. And that meeting led to this letter. Freeland wrote, "To be effective, a minister must speak on behalf of the Prime Minister and with his full confidence. In making your decision, you made clear that I no longer credibly enjoy that confidence and possess the authority that comes with it."
Can Justin Trudeau stay at this point without a deputy prime minister?
The news was a shock to cabinet ministers as they arrived for a meeting.
Chrystia Freeland is a good friend, someone I work with very, very closely as president of the Treasury Board and Minister of Transport. This news has hit me really hard, and I'll reserve further comment until I have time to process it.
Freeland's letter acknowledged she and the Prime Minister were at odds over how to steer the country's finances forward. Citing the upcoming tariff war with President-elect Donald Trump, Freeland said Canada has to keep its fiscal powder dry, adding, quote, "That means eschewing costly political gimmicks which we can ill afford and which make Canadians doubt that we recognize the gravity of the moment." As ministers emerged from the cabinet meeting, it was unclear if all still stood behind the Prime Minister.
The moment now is for us to focus on the best interest of Canadians. That's what we're doing.
I do, yes.
Freeland's letter and the resignation of Housing Minister Sean Fraser have renewed calls from caucus for the Prime Minister to walk away.
It's time for the Prime Minister to read the room, to listen to his colleagues, to listen to the electorate, to look at the polling that hasn't moved in a year.
Firing a Minister of Finance who has served you extremely well is not what I would call a trustworthy move.
And those calls for Trudeau to step down are even louder now from opposition benches.
Justin Trudeau has lost control, and yet he clings to power.
That sentiment echoed by the NDP, which has helped keep the minority Liberals afloat even after tearing up the supply and confidence agreement.
Justin Trudeau has to go. He has to resign. And because of that, all options are on the table. And we'll look at each vote and we'll make a decision. But now all options are on the table.
Now, Singh wouldn't say what those options are, but with just one day left on the parliamentary calendar, there are very few options to bring down this government this year. Mike Lecouture, CTV News, Ottawa.
And CTV's Rahim Ladani is in Chrystia Freeland's riding of University Rosedale tonight with reaction to her resignation from Trudeau's cabinet and leadership questions facing the Prime Minister. Rahim.
Michelle, good evening. I can tell you that here in Little Italy, there is no question that Chrystia Freeland remains viewed in a positive light by many people. She was elected in this riding in 2015 and then re-elected twice thereafter. However, the positive note that people view her in, it isn't translating into confidence in the Liberal Party overall and the current Prime Minister.
In the heart of Toronto's Little Italy, Chrystia Freeland's popularity is quite evident in a neighborhood she's represented for nearly a decade.
I think she's a wonderful person. She's very concerned about our neighborhood and making sure that everybody does well.
Residents like Maria Moda, who has lived in the area for 50 years, met Freeland when she was first elected in the riding of University Rosedale in 2015.
He's been doing a good job, as far as I know. I understand, right? And the way everything goes around, it's very hard to be a politician these days anyways. But, you know what, we like her.
The now former finance minister will hope to lean on that positive sentiment in the next federal election, saying in her letter of resignation, "I look forward to continuing to work with my colleagues as a Liberal member of Parliament, and I'm committed to running again for my seat in Toronto in the next federal election."
I think everyone kind of sees the writing on the wall. This government will be coming to an end, and this is her attempt to step away in a way where she can still run for re-election, but ultimately not be at the helm of the economic direction of this government.
The fallout between Freeland and the Prime Minister could help Freeland's political future, with many of her constituents believing it is time for a change in government.
There's a lot of things that could be better, so maybe a change will be helpful.
Trudeau's, it's too much now. He can't handle things properly.
However, there are also voters who say while they're not lifelong Liberals, they're more concerned about the potential alternative.
I think that she's done some good things. I'm typically not a Liberal voter, but I worry that without somebody who is going to unite the Liberal Party, that we're going to see a Conservative government, which is deeply concerning to me.
And it may not be long before voters have their say. Another comment we heard quite a bit today was a plea from Liberal voters asking the Prime Minister to step down sooner rather than later. In their opinion, they want the Canadian public to have as much time to be introduced to a new leader, someone that can take on Pierre Poilievre. Reporting live, I'm Raheem Ladani. Michelle, I'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Raheem. And the political chaos on Parliament Hill was the talk of a premier's meeting here in the GTA.
Doug Ford and his provincial counterparts gathering to discuss a looming tariff threat from the U.S., but the drama in Ottawa stealing the spotlight. CTV's Queen's Park Bureau Chief Siobhan Morris joins us live with the details. Siobhan.
One of the premiers described this day as being like the Super Bowl and Stanley Cup wrapped into one for political observers. But with all of that going on, there is a push for calm and for premiers to take on a greater role in the face of those potential tariffs. Premiers from coast to coast are trying to present a united front, with the possibility of punishing tariffs on exports to the U.S. hanging over them.
The imposition of tariffs by the U.S. would be a significant failure on the part of the federal government.
Urging Ottawa to do better, engaging with premiers as they face off with the incoming American administration. We now know Chrystia Freeland won't be part of that effort. Doug Ford says his friend called today and he thanked her for her work.
I did put her on speaker with the rest of the premiers. We have a good relationship with Chrystia over the years.
A departure landing at an already tough moment.
It's chaos right now up in Ottawa, and it's time that what we do every single day, the premiers, we step up.
With plans for premiers to head to Washington at the end of February and keep up pressure on the feds.
I think that our priority must be to settle the problem on the border.
A promise premiers warn Ottawa can't back away from.
They have to keep moving government forward, make sure they meet the 2% NATO commitment, make sure that they support our military and proper funding and securing the border as well.
To try and prevent Donald Trump from imposing them.
People are paying $1 a gallon more at the pumps. I suspect that's going to be persuasive in its own right.
No premiers willing to bite on whether a federal government in disarray should trigger an election.
This is like the Super Bowl and the Stanley Cup all on the same day. I understand that, but I think we need to tap the brakes here a little bit.
Cautioning that Freeland is only one person.
There's a stability, there's a consistency to us that we need to lean into here.
A message premiers are determined to have American leaders hear. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith was asked whether the Prime Minister still has a right to call himself a feminist after exiting his finance minister in Chrystia Freeland. Danielle Smith said, or she pointed out rather, that the federal Liberals have never had a female leader before, saying that that's something that Justin Trudeau can change. The subtext there, of course, being that would only happen if he steps aside or calls an election. Reporting live, I'm Siobhan Morris. Michelle, back to you.
Thank you, Siobhan. And it was unclear for several hours today whether the government's fall economic statement would be delivered this afternoon as scheduled following Freeland's resignation. But the document was tabled in the House of Commons about 2 hours ago by the Liberal House Leader.
Pursuant to Standing Order 32, I have the honor to table in both official languages the Fall Economic Statement 2024.
The government has forecast its budget deficit for 2023-24 will be $61.9 billion, significantly up from the $40 billion projected last year. The Liberals are promising to spend $1.3 billion to beef up Canada's border security over 6 years and $790 million for the Canada Border Services Agency. $42 million is being earmarked for the RCMP. There are also new investments worth more than $24 billion. They include clean growth innovation and infrastructure, affordability and housing, justice and security, strong communities, and what the Liberals call effective government and tax fairness. Other expenses are due to be about $16.4 billion related to Indigenous contingent liabilities and $4.7 billion related to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Around the same time, Freeland announced her big decision. Another high-profile cabinet member confirmed this morning he will not be back. Housing Minister Sean Fraser decided to not run in the next federal election.
The past 5 years has had me reflect on what I hope the next 5 years to look like. And I can tell you, more than anything else, I want to spend more time with my kids, and I hope my kids are going to want to spend more time with me. I want meals with Dad to be part of the family's routine as the rule, not just the exception when he's home from Ottawa.
Fraser is stepping away from his post and from representing his Nova Scotia riding. He says he will remain engaged in politics, but did not offer any further details. Fraser was recently asked about a bid to lead the Nova Scotia Liberals. He said he was not making any plans.
Also tonight, the return of mail service in this country. Striking Canada Post employees ordered back to work after a month on the picket lines. What to expect tomorrow as mail is set to get moving again.
But first, a look at the forecast. Not too cold out there, but rain is coming down, so you'll need the umbrellas if you're heading out. Jessica Smith is here with a look at the current conditions. Hey, Jess.
Hey, it's wet and windy out there, so take care as you head out this evening. It will definitely add some time to that commute. Potting and pooling definitely possible on the roads when we have these kind of downpours. Now, we're looking at periods of rain off and on, but not all night, so we do get a bit of a break as we approach midnight. But for now, it is soggy. We're at 6 through Hamilton, 5 through Peterborough, 10 for our friends down in Windsor, and we're relatively mild, all things considered, as we begin a brand new work in school week. We're at 5 through the islands, 6 through Pearson, Windsor, a little bit changeable throughout tonight. Pretty close to seasonal, but that wind remains. Coming up, I'll have a full look at your long-range forecast as we go back towards a more seasonal point and then well below. But let's check in now with Andrea Case as we continue to build a toy mountain. Andrea, where are you today?
Hi, sweetheart. Yes, here I am. I am in lovely Vaughan with the Mitch Marner Foundation. And so it's called the Assist Foundation. We have Natasha here. Natasha, we're actually on, and the man of the hour himself, Mitchell Marner, is here, as well as we've got lots of hockey players. Everybody wave. Okay, so I didn't know where I was going to be here today because it was top secret, so I didn't bring my skates. But Natasha, you organized all of this. Yes. The Salvation Army is benefiting from this. We've got Aaron right over there. Tell us why you still want to be a part of all of this.
Man, I'm telling you, Mitch just has the biggest heart, and obviously he has a full-time job and carries a lot of responsibility in the city of Toronto. So it's our job. I have an amazing team. And we started probably 6 years ago doing Toy Mountain. So we would just go and do a check and have a couple bags of toys. And then Mitch is like, that's sort of small compared to what else we do. Can you come up with something else, please? It's the holidays. You know how much me and my family love the holidays. So about 4 years ago, we created Give a Gift. So he gives people the opportunity to bring gifts. It gives people the opportunity to also donate cash because there's so much food insecurity, insecurity with housing, so many things. Like, you know, just people need some support during the holidays.
Okay, so we have, you just said he has another job. What's your other job, Mitch?
Yeah, it's a part-time hockey player.
Listen, he's more than just a part-time hockey player. He's one of the stars of our Toronto Maple Leafs. Mitch, you are so fortunate living the life you're living, but still, you don't have to do this. Why do you still do it?
I think like Natasha said, I mean, I've been, gifted a really great position. I'm honored to be in the position I am in, and I'm enjoying it. And, I get to give back. And something that my family's always, approached me about is always giving back from a really young age. So now to be where I am now today, I was very, very lucky to meet Natasha when I did. And right away, as soon as I met her, I said, we want to start something of our own. And she was right there with me. And, now we're...
So I'm going to give you a little time to think about this because you'll be back later on in the show. What was your favorite Christmas memory? We'll get back to that. Everybody here, thank you for helping us build a... Toy Mountain! We'll send it back inside. Woo!
And thank you. Great job there, Yvonne. Thanks so much. Well, mail is set to start moving again as early as tomorrow.
Striking Canada Post employees have been ordered back to work after a month off the job, and many aren't happy about it. CTV's Mike Walker joins us live with the latest details. Mike.
Well, Michelle, Nathan, striking postal workers are expected to be on the job as of 8 tomorrow morning. The union argues the back-to-work order infringes its rights to strike and negotiate, a message postal workers were sending to the government at a rally earlier today.
Canada Post, nowhere!
After being issued a back-to-work order that will bring an end to the month-long strike,
We'll continue to fight.
hundreds of striking Canada Post workers from across the GTA and other union groups rallied outside now former Finance Minister Freeland's office, voicing frustration and opposition to the government's intervention.
Being legislated back or being forced back is always a bitter pill. To come back after being sitting at a table or being out for this long and being forced to take something less.
After 2 days of hearing, the Industrial Relations Board issued the back-to-work order at the Labour Minister's request after it deemed both sides were at an impasse. The union argues the order is an assault on their rights.
The minister took away our constitutional right to fair negotiations and our right to strike.
This was a very poor move made by the Labour Minister. It really needs to be, it needs to be withdrawn.
The Labour lawyers say the charter right to strike has reasonable limits.
At this point, we have to ask, what has been reasonable? What is reasonable time to give the parties to try and negotiate?
The move will see the current contract extended until May 22nd as talks continue. Canada Post has also agreed to a 5% wage increase for its 55,000 workers. That is retroactive to when the current contract expired.
As we move through a new process where hopefully we can reach negotiated settlements, that's the transformational change to serve Canadians the way they want to be served in the future.
Canada Post is planning to resume operations tomorrow with a massive backlog of parcels to deliver. For affected customers, some relief.
It's about 1 month. This is not acceptable by any way to happen again.
It's very hard for us because not getting mails on time, especially the bank documents and everything. I'm actually waiting for my credit card.
This man has been waiting for his driver's license to be delivered so he can work.
Without J1 license, that's why I suffer 1 month.
1 month no pay?
Yeah.
The union planning to challenge the constitutionality of the labor code used by the federal government to intervene. It says that will be heard by the Industrial Relations Board in January. Now, Canada Post is warning its customers to expect delays into January as it deals with the backlog of mail and packages. Reporting live, I'm Mike Walker. Nathan, back to you.
Thank you, Mike. Toronto police are investigating a robbery at a jewelry store inside Fairview Mall. Police say 4 masked suspects entered the store with hammers shortly before 1:30 p.m. They made off with an unknown amount of items. Shortly after they left, there was a serious crash which took down a traffic light at Fairview Mall Drive and Don Mills. Police say people inside one of the vehicles involved left the scene. Police say a driver who remained was taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries.
Peel Police want to get more women in law enforcement.
And they've launched a new initiative to do it. CTV's John Musselman has the details.
Giada Brufo grew up in Brampton and attended North Park Secondary School. She graduated with a criminology degree from Wilfrid Laurier University. She's now embarking on a career in policing with Peel Regional Police.
I would say take it. Take the time to learn and do your research, especially, and try it out. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to try something new because you might end up loving it.
And Brufo is exactly what Peel Regional Police are looking for in a program initiative called 30 by 30. The goal is to have women account for 30% of its sworn membership by 2030.
You know, it's incumbent upon us to make sure that we reflect the community, for one thing. And we know that women in policing allow us to be more effective in so many different ways.
The 30 by 30 initiative stems from a U.S. National Institute of Justice report, which reviewed women in policing numbers. The numbers remain below 20% in most major cities. Staff Superintendent Don Orr has carved out a 35-year career with Peel Police, although she admits it wasn't easy in the beginning.
I was the first woman in our Peel Police history in our tactical unit. It was 12 members at the time. And my first day in there was no female change room. That was within the tactical unit itself. So I changed in the ammunition storage locker or storage room.
Orr says the force has come a long way over the years, and she says women can have successful careers in policing that includes a work-life balance. Right now, approximately 22% of Peel Police uniform members are women. The goal is to get that number up to 30% in 5 years. John Musselman, CTV News in Mississauga.
The City of Toronto has broken ground on a new affordable housing project in Parkdale. The supportive homes will eventually house 42 people at 11 Brock Avenue. The units will be offered as rent geared to income homes with no tenant paying more than 30% of their income or the shelter allowance of their social assistance.
We know we have a housing and homelessness crisis. That's a direct result of many decades, 3 decades of government, all levels of government, of not building housing. All that is changed. The City of Toronto is back in the business of building housing because we must.
The development is set to be completed early in 2026.
A seat in the House of Commons is up for grabs tonight. Voters out west are casting ballots in a federal by-election. It's being held to choose a new MP in the BC riding of Cloverdale-Langley City. The seat was most recently held by a Liberal who quit to run in the provincial election for the NDP. Now, Liberal candidate Madison Fleischer will face Conservative Tamara Jansen, who has held the riding before. The vote will be seen as another test for the Trudeau government, which lost 2 by-elections in recent months.
Saying it has to stop, Donald Trump said today he will be talking to the leaders of Ukraine and Russia about ending the war, and he believes Ukraine's president must be prepared to reach an agreement with Moscow.
Got to be a deal. No, got to be a deal. Too many people being killed. That is a war that's hard. Too many people. Got to make a deal. And Putin has to make a deal too.
Trump did not give a direct answer when asked whether Ukraine should relinquish territory as part of a negotiated settlement. Last week, he told Time magazine he has a very good plan to help end the war.
A new study is offering some fascinating information about one of our celestial neighbors. A team of Japanese-led scientists think Saturn's rings could be up to 4.5 billion years old, about the same age as the planet itself. It was long thought the icy rings were only 400 million years old. But our solar system, which was much more chaotic during its formative years, had large objects interacting. And that type of scenario would be conducive to producing the rings during Saturn's earliest times.
We turn now to another massive object, this one here on Earth. The world's largest iceberg is on the move. It's drifting through the Southern Ocean after months stuck spinning in the same spot. Scientists expect the big berg will continue along the ocean currents towards warmer water and the remote island of South Georgia. It will likely break up there and eventually melt.
And I'm Pat Foran. Coming up on Consumer Alert, many people will be finishing up their holiday shopping this week, and that could mean buying gift cards. But we're getting more complaints of gift card scams. One woman just paid $400 for empty cards. I'll have my reports just ahead.
And after a fairly seasonal end to the weekend, we've seen this surge in warmer air well above seasonal right across the board today, the hot spot being our friends out towards Windsor. Coming up, I'll have a full look at your long-range forecast, including a significant cool down as we head in towards the weekend.
Okay, so behind every great man is a great woman. And we have Bonnie Marner here, Mitchell's mother. This is such a great time of year. I know you guys are super busy, and his brother Chris is here. I'm going to get to you in just a second. You can scratch your nose or do whatever you need to do. Okay, how thrilled are you this time of year?
Oh, it's great. I mean, Christmas is always fun to begin with, but to do this is really heartwarming. You know, we can help maybe give families a nice Christmas that maybe wouldn't otherwise have an opportunity to get, you know, some gifts or whatever. So it is nice.
Okay, Chris, so were you roped into this? Is this something you really wanted to do? The Marner Assist Foundation, you're an ICE ambassador. Did your brother make you do this?
The Assist Foundation? No, this is something I just like to do and be a part of. This I made as well, actually, so that's a new design this year.
Yeah, this is the Christmas hoodie that Christopher designed.
Yeah. So those are for sale online at MartinAssistFoundation.com.
Yeah.
All the proceeds go towards Toy Mountain and the Martin Assist Foundation.
Yeah.
But no, this is just fun to be a part of.
Yeah.
I love being here.
And we have Aaron, of course, here from the Salvation Army. Aaron, to be paired with this incredible organization, what's it like for you?
We're so grateful. They do so much every single year, the Martin Assist Foundation, and they support the work of the Salvation Army and what we do in the community, so we're beyond grateful to be here.
Okay, so we're going to go to commercial, but a little later on in the show, Mitch will be back to tell us his favorite Christmas memory. I'll ask his mom if it's actually true. And if I knew we were going to be at an ice rink, I would wear my skates, but that's a whole other story. I'll send it back to you.
Many people will be giving and receiving gift cards over the holidays, and usually they're redeemed without any problems.
But unfortunately, there's been an increase in gift card fraud, and criminals have found ways to drain the cards of their value. Here's Pat Foran and Consumer Alert. Pat.
Thanks, Nathan and Michelle. A woman recently bought $400 worth of gift cards that turned out to be empty. When that happens, it can be difficult to get your money back, so you need to inspect gift cards carefully before you buy them.
I always buy them an array of different gift cards for their birthdays, Tim Hortons, Amazon, LCBO.
Audrey Jameson of Markham is a business owner and finds gift cards a good way to show her appreciation to her employees. But this year, when she purchased 10 Amazon gift cards, 8 of them turned out to have 0 balances.
They were all intact. And then one of my employees went to use it, and the last 4 digits under the claim code were scratched off.
Jameson purchased the gift cards at Shoppers Drug Mart. When she returned to the store, she was told to reach out to Amazon instead. After more than a week, she feels caught in the middle, trying to get her $400 back.
We're frustrated, and I feel like Shoppers Drug Mart, where we purchased them, should be taking some responsibility.
We did a story recently with Catherine Achita. She was given a $250 gift card, and when she tried to use it, it was almost empty.
It said that I had $1.50 left in it, but I had never used it before.
Scammers will open gift cards, take down the gift card number and the activation code, and then reseal the package. When someone goes to buy the gift card, the money will then go to the scammer and not the person who purchased the card. Criminals may also place fake barcode stickers on gift cards. To protect yourself from gift card fraud, examine gift cards before buying them. If it looks tampered with, don't buy it. And buy gift cards that are behind the counter or online. And save your receipt in case there's a problem. CTV News reached out to Shoppers Drug Mart, and parent company Loblaw told us, unfortunately, gift card fraud is a problem that's impacting the retail sector in general. Our store teams are trained to recognize tampering, and that we have connected with the customer and were able to resolve this issue for them. Jameson was refunded $400 for the gift cards, which was great news for her.
I'm so relieved that you were able to get us this money back. Without you, I don't think we would have been able to do it. Thank you so much.
And most gift cards in Ontario are not allowed to expire, but there are some that can. If you get a gift card for a spa, massage, or manicure, they can expire, so you should try to use them as soon as you can. On your side, I'm Pat Foran.
If you have a consumer story idea, email us at alert@ctv.ca.
We're talking rain on this Monday and not snow because it is so mild out there. But as we approach the official start of winter later this week, it is going to feel like it and cool down.
Right, so I think we're kind of spared. It could be like a major snow event, so that's a good way of looking at it.
I guess kind of a blessing in disguise, right? We're holding on to the mild weather, the rain, and some fog kind of building in behind us. It's pretty high level fog right now, not impacting your drive, but we'll keep a close eye on that because we had fog advisories in place this morning, but right now it's just rainy out there, but still really mild. Temperature-wise, it stays above seasonal as we head through this evening, and really to start the week before things start to shift just a little. Right now through Windsor, for example, they're still sitting at 10 degrees. They were the provincial hotspot today. Here in the 6, we are sitting at 6, and we're at 0 through Ottawa, 2 in Sudbury, and we're holding on generally right across the province, relatively mild. The ridge in the jet stream, kind of noted here by the more yellow color, really almost encompasses everybody. Into this evening, mild as well. We'll be at 3. We should be at -6. Bancroft should be at -12. They'll be sitting at 2 degrees this evening, and everybody holding on well above their seasonal averages. Into the day tomorrow, much the same. It's not as warm, but still on the warmer side. And we're looking at just a mostly cloudy day, so we get a bit of a break from some of the active weather. But that line of showers continues to push its way across southern Ontario. Even the risk of a little thunderstorm activity. Behind it, we'll have a cold front push its way down across the Great Lakes, kind of firing up the lake effect snow machine. Not impacting us just yet, but it is going to kind of bring some messier weather and some cooler temperatures midweek. Right now, it is raining and it's a little windy out there, so just keep that in mind. It is going to impact your drive or your commute this evening. As we head in towards kind of about midnight, the bulk of that rain is in eastern Ontario. And then as we head into the day tomorrow, it is dry, albeit cloudy for your commutes, likely to and from your daily activities. So for the kids heading off to school, it is a mild day, but still probably a lighter jacket a good idea, especially if they're going to spend some time outside. Into your Wednesday, we start to see that cold front sweep its way across, pushing some lake effect snow, again heavier in those standard areas, kind of typically along the eastern shorelines of Lake Huron and Georgian Bay. But we'll see some wet snow in the morning for the GTA, and this continues off and on. Not a crazy snow event by any means, but noticeable as temperatures begin to shift and drop. So your Wednesday commute, probably a little bit rocky, so give yourself some time. But as we head into Thursday, we see the sunshine return, but not the warmth. That cloud cover, again, is kind of a good thing this time of year. As we head in towards our Wednesday, again, a little messy out there, kind of that rain-snow mix. And then from Thursday onwards, it gets cold and it stays cold. And looking ahead to the start of winter on Saturday, you're going to need all the layers and then some. Let's go back to our Andrea Case on location in Vaughan. You've got some pretty special guests there. Andrea, how's it going?
And there's a party going on here in Vaughan tonight. I'm here again with Bonnie and Aaron, and I've got Mr. Mike Kruszelewski, who's talking to lots of people here. He's played for so many teams, but of course, remember he was a Leaf in the 90s. And winner of how many Stanley Cups?
4.
4, but who's counting? 4 Stanley Cups. Why is it important for you to give back?
Well, it's so spectacular. Mitch does so much for the people of Toronto, the kids of Toronto. You know, not only is he a great hockey player on the ice, but he's just an even better human being. So it's, whenever he calls, we're very lucky enough to, I'm lucky enough to participate. So it's, how could you not?
Listen, I'm blinded by the bling. He keeps putting it in his pocket, but that's a Stanley Cup ring. Sadly, Mitch hasn't won one yet, but Mr. Marner is back. He's been running around and talking to lots of people, signing autographs, taking pictures. Okay, so I asked you a tough question earlier. Yeah. Your favorite Christmas memory?
I know. That's a great one. I mean, I think any Christmas that I usually ask for a hockey stick every Christmas from Santa Claus, and Santa Claus is always very gracious and granted me one. So I don't know which one maybe was my favorite, but Christmas is always a good time for new hockey gear.
Okay, so I know a few years ago you got the best gift ever. Hello there. Yeah. How are you?
How are you?
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing? Yes.
A lot of years ago.
Yes.
Getting into this family and seeing how it all works in terms of the foundation, was this something that was easy for you to get on board with?
Yes, I think we've honestly been passionate about giving back since day one with both of us, and doing it in London. Like we started it back in London, so we just love if we can, just to give back. So it was really easy to fit right into the family and just be a part of this amazing foundation. So.
Okay, so speaking of giving back, hello, the lady with the big check is here. Natasha, what do you have here?
Well, for our 4th annual Give a Gift, the Marner Assist Foundation would like to give $20,000 to the Salvation Army. Hopefully over 20,000 toys. I don't know. They keep them coming.
Well, I know Aaron will make good use of this money. Aaron, what can you do with $20,000? Step in here. We'll cover this check for a second. What can you do with it?
So much can be done with this. There's so many children and families who need our support, so we're so grateful to the Marner Assist Foundation and Mitch and all that you do to support the Salvation Army, to help us. You know, there's 70,000 children in the GTA who need our support, so this will go a long way.
Okay, so everybody, once again, thank you for helping us build a toy
mountain.
Okay, so I got to ask you one quick hockey question.
Yeah.
You're back on the ice tomorrow. Any predictions tomorrow?
Well, we have practice tomorrow, so I don't think anyone's going to be scoring or anything. Hopefully we go to Dallas, and hopefully it's another great game and keep the wins coming.
Well, after that hat trick last night with Tavares, we're all inspired. We're inspired by everything you do on and off the ice. We want to thank you for doing this. Everyone, we're going to send it back to the studio, and maybe a little later on we'll talk to Big Brother here. Big Brother or Little Brother?
Big Brother.
Big Brother. Big Brother. Oh, big Brother. We'll send it back to very big. We'll send it back to the studio.
Big Brother, big check. Thank you, Mitch Marner, and
Thank you very much.
everybody. We so
Congratulations.
appreciate it. Also tonight, a big birthday celebration for staff, patients, and volunteers, marking 125 years of care at Holland Bloorview Kids Rehab Hospital. A pediatric hospital in Toronto is marking a major milestone.
For 125 years, Holland Bloorview has been providing rehabilitation services for young patients and their families. CTV's Beth McDonnell was there.
A big birthday, a big celebration as Holland Bloorview Kids Rehabilitation Hospital turns 125 years old.
Can we just say wow all together? And 1, 2, 3, wow!
Alex Winter lives with cerebral palsy and ADHD. Ty Young was born unable to walk. They are the party's masters of ceremonies. For them, the hospital has been life-changing.
I had a surgery called the selective dorsal rhizotomy, or SDR, and I spent 3 months here in rehab. Best 3 months of my life, not gonna lie.
I've been in my wheelchair my entire life, and being a part of Holland Bloorview has really given me the resources and the tools to be able to navigate life, gain independence, and honestly really help my parents as well.
The hospital was created back in 1899. 22 women came together to care for 15 patients. The first location, a house on Avenue Road.
So it was actually the home for incurable children, what we would think of as children with disabilities and chronic conditions today. And so that was the need they saw then, and really that's been the history of our organization.
Known around the world, over the years it's hosted royalty and received support from some of the city's biggest stars. Today, there are 1,000 volunteers, 1,500 staff caring for 10,000 children every year. It houses the largest developmental pediatrics program in the country and is a leader when it comes to training, education, research, and advances like brain-computer interface.
This is children using only the power of their thoughts in order to manipulate their environment, move their wheelchair, make art, make music, communicate with their family. It's the stuff of science fiction.
To help celebrate, the hospital is making a time capsule to open in 50 years with photos, a wireless headset, and important reports. It's a future Young and Winter believe is bright.
But they also have so many campaigns to create change for disability representation, and I think that that is massive.
That Bloorview is an awesome place, and I've been greatly impacted by what it is doing and what it has done.
Beth McDonnell, CTV News.
The moment now is for us to focus on the best interest of Canadians. That's what we're doing.
Updating our top stories, the federal Liberals have just held a special national caucus meeting. This follows the surprise resignation of Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland. Today, Dominic LeBlanc was sworn in this afternoon to replace her as finance minister, and the government House leader stepped in to table the fall fiscal update that Freeland was due to deliver.
Chaos right now up in Ottawa, and it's time that what we do every single day, the premiers, we step up.
All those developments on Parliament Hill ended up being a major focus of discussion at the Premier's meeting in Mississauga. The meeting was called to present a united front amid those threats of American tariffs. Today, the leaders called on Ottawa to act on issues such as the border and NATO spending.
This was a very poor move made by the Labour Minister. It really needs to be, it needs to be withdrawn.
And mail is set to begin moving again tomorrow morning after a month-long strike at Canada Post. The Industrial Relations Board has ordered the more than 55,000 workers back, with a deal to be reached in the new year. The Crown Corporation warns it will take time to clear the backlog of packages and letters.
Remember to keep up to date day and night at ctvnewstoronto.ca and by downloading the CTV News app. And if you have a news tip, photos, or video of breaking news, let us know.
On the markets, the Canadian dollar changed hands at 70.18 U.S. cents, down a fraction. Western Canadian Select Oil up $1.47 to close at $58.46 a barrel. And the TSX Composite Index ending at 25,147.21, down just over 127 points.
The Business Report is brought to you by Canadian Western Bank, the bank built for business.
Meanwhile, home sales in Canada continue to surge. The Canadian Real Estate Association says the number in November rose 26% compared with a year ago. That was the second straight month of large year-over-year gains. The national average sale price last month was just over $694,000. That was an increase of 7.4% compared with a year earlier. The number of newly listed properties was down 0.5% month over month. Well, the Leafs were looking to avoid a second straight loss when they faced off with the Buffalo Sabres last night.
Rings it around to Marner, chips that for Nyes, picked up by Tavares for the hat trick. John Tavares scores!
John Tavares notched his 14th career hat trick to lead the Leafs to a 5-3 win. The team will be back on the ice on Wednesday to take on the Dallas Stars. And the Raptors will be looking to snap a 4-game losing skid when they take on the Chicago Bulls tonight. The team's coming off a 114-104 loss to the Miami Heat Thursday. Tip-off for tonight's game against the Bulls is set for just after 7:30 at Scotiabank Arena. Meanwhile, the first regular season WNBA game outside the U.S. will be played in Canada. Atlanta and Seattle will square off in Vancouver on August 15th. There have been 2 exhibition games in Canada. The Toronto Tempo will play in 2026 as the first international team in league history.
Okay, so we're back here at the rink, and I'm joined by some of the board members from the Marner Assist Foundation. So big shout out to everybody here. We've got big brother Chris here. Chris, it's crunch time now. Why should people donate to your organization, to Salvation Army, to Toy Mountain?
Honestly, I think just nowadays especially, it's tough. Everything's expensive. It's not easy. So anytime you can help someone, I think it just makes sense, and it's going a long way. So kids that can't afford to have the things that they should and get toys and the things they want for Christmas, it just goes a long way. So I think it's awesome to do and good to give back.
Okay, and we want to say once again, thank you for helping us build a
Toy Mountain!
Woo!
Inside the cabinet chaos on Parliament Hill.
The Honourable Dominic Leblanc, Minister of Finance and Intergovernmental Affairs.
The sudden resignation of the Finance Minister, the scramble to swear in her replacement, and what it means for the Prime Minister. Later on CTV National News.
And a reminder, the CTV News at 6 podcast is available as a download every weeknight. And a special shout out to those of you listening to the newscast live on News Talk 1010.
Hey, I'm Sarah Waisglass, and this is the final week of CTV's 29th annual Toy Mountain campaign in support of the Salvation Army. Let's make a difference this holiday season and bring a smile to a child's face by donating a new unwrapped toy to a drop-off location near you. You can visit toymountain.ca and click Toronto to learn more about this amazing campaign.
Yes, this is it. We're in the final week of Toy Mountain.
Our annual campaign to make the season a little brighter for families in the GTA. And now our Andrea Case is in Vaughan spending time with the Marner family. Hey, Andrea.
Okay, well, yes, the party continues here. Big Brother is back. Aaron is here. Let's talk a little about the food bank, because the food bank was here tonight, and so they also benefit from the Marner Assist Foundation. Why should people also think about food at this time of year, not just gifts and money?
Yeah, there is so much need. You know, we did a recent research report at the Salvation Army, and over 58% of the people coming to our food banks are first-time users. 1 in 4 parents will be skipping meals or have skipped meals to be able to feed their children and give them the appropriate meals that they need. So there is so much need with food beyond a toy. Food is so, it's a necessity of life that people need.
Okay, so the kids are back, the girls are back, the hockey team, they've got a game coming up. What are you most looking forward to this holiday season?
To win and have like really good effort.
Okay, and so kids that don't have a gift perhaps, what's your message to them and to people who are donating?
Just to try and like help organizations.
Again, we're here at the rink with the Marner Assist Foundation. You have something to say?
I don't play hockey.
But you're supporting the cause. Okay, well, there you go. We're going to wrap it up. We want to thank everybody for helping us build a toy mountain. That is it from here. Thanks to the Marner Assist Foundation. We'll send it back to you.
Big thanks from us as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry, I was so taken aback watching it. But we are, into that final stretch of Toy Mountain, and you guys can still donate. It's a good thing to donate online, too, because the weather it's not the greatest outside. So skip getting out in the rain and make your donation online, and you can text your donation as well. We're holding on to these showers for a little while longer, but it's not an all-night rain affair. Still sitting at 6 degrees here in the city, up to 11 now in Windsor. We are holding on to a decent amount of warmth as we wrap up our day. Things will start to shift, though, as we head in towards that middle and end point of our week. A little messy on your Wednesday, so a heads up. Give yourself time for that commute, and then after that, the sun comes up, but it gets cold, so bundle up moving forward into next weekend.
Thank you, Jess. That's it for us, but you can join Omar Sachedina tonight at 11 for CTV National News, followed by Zoraida Allman with your next local newscast at 11:30.
Meantime, our coverage continues anytime on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Jessica Smith and all of us here at CTV News, thanks for watching. Have a great night.
Yeah.